the wine director here at Webster at our second place, the Bluebird in Uptown and Telegraph in Webster. I'm a huge fan of Riesling, as I hope you guys are too. We've done lots of different Riesling events over the past 12 years, but this is the first time that we've done an Austrian Riesling tasting in association with the Terroir Hearth Restaurant Group in New York City. I've been working really hard for the past 2 months to put together a whole host of events this weekend. This evening, Saturday day and night, Sunday day and night also. The whole list of what's going on is on this sheet here. The linchpin of the whole weekend is a dance party tomorrow night at the youth gallery called Open Secret Studios. All the reason you can drink for $25 and DJs spinning, strobe lights, music. It'll be a lot of fun. We don't have a smoke thing yet, but it's going to be great. So that's a whole 3 days that kicks off right now. There's 9 different restaurants throughout the city that are doing pre-mixed menus. What we're doing here is our wine tasting because that's what the wine is. So it's great to have you guys here. I'm just going to give a brief overview of Austria and what these wines are, field any questions, and then kind of let things go, because this should be a casual tasting that everyone can get through. There's 16 different wines here. They all come from Austria. They're all made from Riesling. Unlike Rieslings that come from Germany or elsewhere, Austrian Rieslings, unless they're sweet late harvest wines, are all dry. So if you're out at a restaurant, if you're out at a retail shop, and you're looking at Riesling that comes from Austria, you can always expect it to be dry. It's the German styles that can often tend towards sweetness. I always like to put that out first if folks are expecting a sweeter taste. All the places that make dry Riesling, I think Austria is the finest. The other great one in Europe is Alsace in eastern France. Alsace wines can tend to be a little bit more starchy for me, a little bit more heavy, a little bit more rich. The Alsatians, the Austrians that are tasting now tend to have a little bit more delicacy, a little bit more precision, and they can be very, very fine, which I'm hoping you'll be able to taste here. About 65% of all wine in Austria is white. And all that 65%, only 4% is Riesling. The great majority, 30% and more within a given year is Grüne Veltliner, which might be an Austrian wine for whites, so you can not their best. But although Riesling only has 4% of the total wine production in Austria, it's universally recognized that Riesling always makes better wines than Grüne Veltliner. Just because it has a lot more depth on the palate, more structure, more complexity, and for me a bit more age-worthiness, which I'm really happy to be able to show here. This evening, most Rieslings that you'll taste from Austria in 2008 or 2002. It's a pleasure for me to be able to offer Austrian Rieslings that go back to 2002. So there's a whole host of vintages from 2002 to 04 to 05 to 06 to 2007. To be able to get a good sense of the longevity of this grape and from this area also. The climate is frankly a bit similar to Burgundy. In terms of latitude, it falls between Beaune and Champagne in France. So it's on the Chevrisian northern Burgundy side in terms of climate, which is not the ideal kind of thing you might think for Riesling, but that's benefited on a bit by the complexity of the soil type, which underlies all of Austria. You'll get a lot of minerality or salty tones from these wines. It tends to be enhanced the older the wines are. And that tends to come from the Erdestein stone or the primal rock that underlies most of the vineyards throughout Austria, which gives a really salty, crisp, sometimes a nougat or buttermilk character as the wines age. One more note on the regions, not to bore anyone. The last word with all the wines that you guys see here is the region name. The #1 top region in Austria for Riesling is Wachau. W-A-C-H-A-U. Most of the wines that we're showing here are from Wachau. Wines number 8 all the way through 6, all the way through 16. So a full half the wines come from Wachau, and that's a pretty representative example for Austria for the number of Rieslings that come from there. The second greatest Riesling I find for Austria is the Comtal. Ones are 1, 2, 3, and 4. All come from Comtal. It's about all these wine regions are about 45 minutes each from Vienna by car. I have a little map here if you want a reference. Mostly lie along the river bank of the Danube River, which does the same thing for the vineyards that sit on the steep slopes in Austria that the Mosel River does, or the Rhine River does in Germany, which is why the Rieslings can be so great. The sunlight reflects from the river and goes back into the vineyards, and also straight from the sun straight onto the grapes. So you get sun from two sources. So the river sunlight helps the Riesling get extra flavor. So we have the Wachau, we have the Kamptal. The next area too is the Kremstal. We're showing one wine from there, number 5. The Wagram is another great region too. Very, very small. Production is limited. Most of the folks that make wine there are tiny family wine growers. And then in all of Europe, there's only one nation capital that has vines grown within the borders, and that's Vienna in Austria. Back in the day, it used to be Paris. There's still a couple of small vineyards there, but they're only bottled for export sale. In Vienna, Austria, they actually have vineyards within the capital. And we're showing one wine from there, the very best, wine number 7. So schnitzel all night long, that's brought to your table with the food, but the wines will all be here. So we'd like to have folks taste food at their own pace. If you find yourself struggling for wine, I'll be happy to come to you with it. But wines 1 through 16 are all here. Please come up and taste at your own pace. We have a spit bucket or dump bucket.